Morning to Mr. Bear and fellow audience. We are Group 4 and we are going to present on the topic future packaging for Reebok. Before I start, I would like to introduce my teammates. First of all, I am Alexander and there is William, Peter and Jiayi. So without further ado, I'll proceed with the presentation. Firstly, Reebok was founded in England in 1958 by a pair of brothers, Joe and Jeff Foster, to carry on the family tradition of making running shoes. Their grandfather, Joseph Foster, also owns a company of his own in 1895 that developed one of the very first track spikes in history. Hence, Reebok went on to make running spike shoes as well throughout the 60s and 70s. Then, in 1979, Paul Fireman, an American outdoor gear distributor, acquired the rights to Reebok in North. His investment was considered a modest success, as Reebok recorded 1.5 million USD in 1981. Then came the turning point in 1984, where Paul Fireman bought Reebok. At this point, Reebok expanded from making just spike shoes to casual athletic footwear. According to Scombe and Big, Reebok also capitalized on the women's aerobic market and overtook Nike and Adidas in terms of sales at the time. But sadly, Reebok didn't manage to carry on their success in the 80s. So in 2005, Adidas bought Reebok to compete with Nike. And that wasn't really a success as well, because just this year in 2021, Adidas sold Reebok to Authentic Brands Group. Next, I'll be talking about the mission and the vision of Reebok. So firstly, Reebok is committed to designing products and marketing programs that reflect creativity and the desire to constantly challenge the status quo. The vision of Reebok is fulfilling potential. Reebok is committed in giving every athlete, from elite athletes to recreational runners to children on the playground, with the opportunity, products, and inspiration to realize their full potential. Reebok thinks that everyone has the ability to do great things. As a brand, Reebok has a unique opportunity to assist customers, athletes, artists, partners, and workers in realizing their full potential and reaching previously unimaginable heights. On the other hand, Reebok's mission is always challenge and lead through creativity. Reebok sees the world a bit differently, and they've made their mark throughout their history when they had the fortitude to defy convention. Reebok develops products and marketing campaigns that showcase the brand's limitless creative potential. That's all. Thank you.
So, the marketing objective is to increase 8% of market share of Reebok within 2 years by increasing the brand awareness of Reebok. Because as we all know that Reebok is losing its brand awareness and market share due to the exposure and awareness done by its competitor with a lot of creative and innovative ideas. We have came out with a campaign name called Reshape with Reebok, which is a space-saving packaging campaign for Reebok in order to let them to adapt to the sustainability of the world, which also promotes Reebok's corporate social responsibility. Maybe Reebok could be one of the first few companies in the industry which came up with this campaign and attract customers. Next would be the challenges of the modern marketer nowadays face to create brand engagement of the new campaign. So the first challenge is economic downturn. So to start with economic downturn in recent years, especially when COVID-19 pandemic occurs, COVID-19 do not consider as a global pandemic and virus crisis, but it has also severely affected the global economy, which has directly affected the business of Reebok. Many countries have implemented disease mitigation measures, which have resulted in significant reductions in income, rising unemployment, and disruption in transportation, services, and manufacturing. In addition to the obvious health inequality, especially in countries without universal medical coverage, the economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic will also differ in national income distribution. So, furthermore, economic downturn means difficult times for most companies and marketers. When companies start to see sales and revenue decline, they cut expenses. So personnel, real estate, administrative expenses, and future investment are all streamlined. Moreover, marketing and advertising budget are usually cut the first being cut because they are seen as discretionary costs. Intuitively, this makes sense. Although companies strive to maintain normal operation, few marketers spend their attention and energy on advertising. During the economic slowdowns, consumers will set stricter spending priorities and often reduce unnecessary purchases. So, unlikely, marketers continue to promote Rebook to build brand engagement in new campaigns. In this case, Rebook's company marketers will decrease or cut their efforts in create brand awareness in order to save money. On the other hand, advertising spending during the economic downturn will actually increase if they proceed with doing advertising or campaign. So possible to consider, according to Grundy in 2009, those who choose not to create brand awareness during the economic downturn, after the economic resume growth, the company market share increased by almost 0% and sales only increased by 18%, which is lower compared to the companies that keep pushing their brand awareness during their hard time. That's all. I will pass to the next presenter.
So the second challenges that we as a marketer face is increased competition. So to be simplified, the sportswear industry is full of different brands and style catering to different markets around the world. This makes the sportswear industry highly competitive, and it is very difficult for people to stand out from competitor. So when buying clothes, whether it's online or in physical stores, consumer will experience a wealth of choices, which make product differentiation incredibly complicated. Therefore, sportswear companies such as Reebok are forced to stand out from the crowd by relying on brand equity. All sportswear companies are influenced by competitors to some extent, which may affect the decision of company including Reebok's made. So for example, if two sportswear companies offer almost the same campaign and one company offer different discount or more discount for a limited time, Reebok may need to do so in order to compete. In fact, competition between sportswear companies are beneficial to customer or consumer because it means that company must provide quality product and service at appropriate prices. So this also means that companies need to continuously update and launch new product, activity, and campaign through innovation. To be simplified, increased competition has both sides, which has a good and bad side that might be beneficial to Reebok, and by the bad side, it might be also decrease the sales of Reebok dramatically. Okay, and that's all for my part, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
With this future packaging campaign, which is reshaped with Reebok focusing on space-saving criteria for shoes boxes, naturally the innovation aspect play a huge role. The target market for this new campaign will start off by focusing on the age group of the consumer. They will be from the Generation Z and Millennial generation. Due to Reebok's doctor image, the brand has a hard time resonating with the younger audience. Therefore, with this bright campaign, it brings much needed creativity into the mix that will attract the younger audience. Next, for the income level, we have targeted consumer with an average of 35,000 US dollar and above annually. The reason behind finalizing this income level is because 35,000 US dollar was the average income level of our selected age group in 2020. Our targeted consumer has been researched to possess more disposable income to make purchases. Apart from that, they do not need to pay expenses to form a family or financing a house. Moving on, our targeted consumer lifestyle. We believe that it should include the idea that this space-saving shoes box concept should attract creative mind and sneakerheads alike. Since creativity is a huge part of Reebok identity, as mentioned in their company mission, our targeted consumer lifestyle include athletic and active, interested in innovation and technology, trendy and fashionable individual. This lifestyle traits suit the idea of our campaign. And that's all for our presentation. Thank you.